Your dog is confused right now. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they don't try, because every single day, without realizing it, you're sending them signals that completely contradict each other, and your dog is doing everything they can to make sense of a language that keeps changing on them. Nobody ever tells you this. Nobody sits you down and shows you exactly where the wires are getting crossed. By the end of this video, you're going to see 6 moments you've lived 100 times in a completely different light, and your dog's behavior is going to start making a lot more sense. Welcome to the Silent Voice. If you're new here, hit subscribe right now. We post videos like this every week, and there's so much more coming you won't want to miss. There are 6 specific mistakes that most owners make every single day, not out of carelessness, not out of not loving their dog enough, but simply because nobody ever explained what those moments look like from your dog's side of the room. And here's what makes these mistakes so damaging. They're not dramatic. They're not the things you'd ever think to question. They're woven into the most ordinary parts of your day. And every time they happen, your dog tries a little harder to understand a world that keeps refusing to make sense. Let's start with the one that almost every single owner gets completely wrong. 1. Picture this. Your dog jumps up on you when you walk through the door. Sometimes you laugh, ruffle their ears, let them jump. Other times, when you're tired, when you're wearing something nice, and when you're just not in the mood, you push them down and say off firmly. Same dog, same behavior, completely different response from you. Sound familiar? Here's what you don't realize. To your dog, those 2 responses don't exist in the same category. They can't cross-reference your outfit or your energy level or the kind of day you had. All they can do is track the outcome of a behavior. And what they're tracking right now is this. Sometimes jumping gets warmth and laughter, and sometimes it gets pushed away in a sharp word. That's not a mixed signal. That's the equivalent of someone changing the rules of a game mid-play without telling you, every single time. Your dog isn't misbehaving. They're genuinely trying to solve a puzzle that has no consistent answer. Studies in applied animal behavior science show that inconsistent reinforcement, where the same behavior produces different outcomes unpredictably, is one of the most significant sources of confusion and anxiety in domestic dogs. It's not the correction that causes the damage. It's the inconsistency. A dog that gets corrected every single time learns quickly. A dog that gets corrected sometimes and rewarded other times enters a state researchers describe as learned confusion, where the nervous system stays perpetually elevated because it can never predict what's coming next. The fix is so simple it almost feels like cheating. Pick one rule and hold it every single time. Not most times, every time. If jumping isn't allowed, it isn't allowed when you're happy either. Turn away, arms crossed, 0 eye contact. Every single time they jump, the moment all 4 paws hit the floor, that's when the greeting happens. Warm, immediate, consistent. Do this for 2 weeks without a single exception and watch the behavior change faster than you'd believe possible. You'll notice something shift almost immediately. Less frantic energy at the door. A dog who's finally figured out the answer and feels the relief of knowing it. But the next mistake on this list is quieter than a greeting. And it's been happening in your living room every single day without you seeing it once. 2. Picture this. You're on the couch. Your dog comes over and nudges your hand with their nose. You're watching something, half distracted, and you reach down and pet them for a few seconds without really thinking about it. Then you stop and go back to your screen. They nudge again. You pet them again. Stop again. They nudge again. Sound familiar? Here's the truth nobody talks about. Every time your dog nudges and you respond, you haven't just given them affection. You've taught them something. You've taught them that nudging you produces contact on demand. And that might sound harmless. It might even sound sweet. But what you've actually built, one absent-minded pet at a time, is a dog who believes they control when connection happens. A dog who's learned to manage your attention like a lever. And a dog who believes they run the emotional thermostat of the relationship is a dog who's quietly, constantly carrying more anxiety than they should ever have to hold. Veterinary behaviorists have documented that demand behaviors in dogs, nudging, pawing, barking for attention, when consistently reinforced, are directly linked to higher rates of separation distress and generalized anxiety. It's not that the dog is spoiled. It's that they've been handed a responsibility their nervous system wasn't built to manage. A dog that feels in charge of the connection is a dog that can never fully rest. And a dog that can never fully rest is showing you something important that most owners never see. The fix is so simple it almost feels like cheating. Start initiating affection before they ask for it. Put down your phone, turn to them, call them over, and give them real focused attention on your terms. 2 minutes of genuine, present contact is worth more to your dog's nervous system than 20 minutes of absent-minded petting triggered by a nudge. And when they nudge during a time you haven't chosen, calmly, gently, on without any drama, don't respond. Wait for stillness, then initiate. You're not withholding love. You're teaching them that love is steady, that it comes, that they don't have to chase it. You'll see something settle in your dog over time. Less nudging, less restlessness. A dog who can lie across the room and actually rest because they've stopped waiting for the next chance to secure your attention. What comes next, though, is something most owners would never in a million years identify as a mistake, because it sounds on the surface exactly like good training. 3. Picture this. You call your dog's name. They don't come immediately. They're sniffing something, distracted, doing their thing. So you call it again, then one more time with a slightly sharper edge. By the time they eventually wander over, you've said their name 4 or 5 times. You give them a pat. Move on. Sound familiar? Here's what you don't realize. Every time you repeat your dog's name without a response and then let it go, you're teaching your dog something precise. You're teaching them that their name is optional, that it doesn't require action, that the sound you're making is background noise, not a signal. Their name should be the sharpest, most reliable cue in your entire relationship. The one sound that cuts through everything and means come to me right now and something good is waiting. But if it's been called 10,000 times with no consistent consequence, it's been quietly emptied of all its meaning. It's become wallpaper. Research into canine learning consistently shows that cue degradation, where a trained behavior stops reliably responding to its trigger, happens fastest when the cue is repeated without reinforcement. Every unanswered call of your dog's name followed by no consequence is a small withdrawal from the account of that word's meaning, and those withdrawals compound. A dog that doesn't reliably respond to their name isn't stubborn. They've just been taught very patiently and very thoroughly that the name doesn't really mean anything urgent. The fix is so simple it almost feels like cheating. Stop repeating it. Say it once, clearly, and if they don't respond, go to them, gently take their collar, guide them toward you, and reward the arrival. Every single time. Never call their name and let the non-response slide. And for the next 2 weeks, only call their name when you're certain you can follow through, when you're close enough, focused enough, and have something genuinely good waiting on the other end. You're not retraining the behavior, you're restoring the word. And a restored word is one of the most powerful tools you'll ever have. You'll notice something shift within days. The first time you say their name once and they turn immediately, ears up, moving toward you, you'll feel it. That's not obedience. That's trust. But what comes next is the mistake most owners make without realizing they're making it multiple times a day. And it has nothing to do with commands or names or training at all. 4. Picture this. You're getting ready to leave the house. You pick up your keys, your dog's head comes up, you put on your jacket. They start pacing. You grab your bag. They're at the door now, ears back, already anxious. You feel guilty. So you crouch down, hold their face in your hands, and say it's okay. I'll be back soon in the softest voice you have. Then you leave. Sound familiar? Here's what you don't realize. That goodbye, the crouching, the soft voice, the long eye contact, the reassurance, didn't comfort your dog. It confirmed their fear. Because here's what your dog actually heard in that moment. Something important is happening. Something big enough that you stopped, got low, used that specific voice, and stayed longer than usual. In dog communication, the intensity of a farewell signals the weight of the event. You were trying to say this is nothing, but every physical signal you used said this is significant. And your dog believed the signals over the words, every single time. Behavioral research into separation anxiety consistently identifies emotionally charged departures as one of the primary reinforcing factors in dogs who struggle with being alone. It's not that the goodbye caused the anxiety, it's that the goodbye confirmed it. A dog who sees their owner crouch, soften, and linger has just received the most compelling possible evidence that leaving is an event worth being distressed about. A dog that feels in control of its environment feels safe. And a prolonged emotional goodbye tells a dog the opposite, that you leaving is something neither of you is okay with. The fix is so simple, it almost feels like cheating. Make your leaving boring, completely, deliberately boring. Pick up your keys and don't look at your dog. Put on your jacket like it means nothing. Walk to the door the same way you'd walk to the kitchen for a glass of water. No crouching, no soft voice, no lingering eye contact. Just leave calmly, like it's the most unremarkable thing in the world. Because to a dog with a healthy sense of security, it should be. You're not being cold. You're being kind in the deepest way. You're telling them with your body that this is nothing to worry about. You'll notice something shift within a week or two. A dog who barely lifts their head when you pick up your keys. Not because they don't love you, because they've finally learned that you leaving is just a thing that happens and that you always, always come back. What comes next is the mistake that's hardest to hear because it involves something most owners do entirely out of love. 5. Picture this. Your dog does something wrong. Chewed a shoe, had an accident inside, knocked something over, you find it an hour later. You walk to where they are, point at the mess, and say in a low, serious voice, "Did you do this?" Your dog drops their head, ears back, tail tucked, looks guilty. You feel like they know exactly what they did. Sound familiar? Here's the truth nobody talks about. They don't know. That look, the flattened ears, the lowered head, the tucked tail, isn't guilt. It's appeasement. It's your dog reading the tension in your body, the shift in your voice, the way you're holding yourself, and responding to those cues with the behavioral equivalent of, "Please don't be upset with me." They're not connecting that look to the chewed shoe. They can't. The gap between the behavior and your reaction is too wide for their brain to bridge. What you're seeing on their face isn't remorse. It's fear of you, in this moment, right now. That's a completely different thing. Research published in behavioral neuroscience journals has shown that dogs display appeasement behaviors in response to owner body language and vocal tone, not in response to the memory of a specific act. The timing of a dog's learning window is approximately 2 seconds. Anything corrected beyond that window is correction without context. A dog that looks guilty an hour after the fact isn't confessing. They're reading the room and trying to survive what's happening in it. The fix is so simple it almost feels like cheating. If you didn't see it happen, let it go completely. Clean it up without a word, without a look, without any change in your energy toward your dog. Save your correction for the moment, the actual real-time moment when the behavior is happening. That's the only window where it lands with meaning. And if you find yourself getting frustrated at a dog who looks guilty but keeps repeating the behavior, that's the clearest possible sign that the correction isn't reaching the cause. Change the management, block access, prevent the opportunity. Because correcting a gap in time teaches nothing except that your energy sometimes becomes unpredictable. And an unpredictable owner is an anxious dog's worst nightmare. You'll notice something shift when you stop the delayed corrections. Less of that cringing, worried appeasement posture in your dog's everyday body language. More ease, more softness around the eyes. A dog who isn't spending their time braced for something they can't predict. And the last mistake on this list is the one that will quietly hit the hardest, because it's something almost every single owner does out of pure, uncomplicated love. 6. Picture this. Your dog is frightened. A thunderstorm, a loud noise outside, fireworks in the distance. They come to you trembling, pressing against your legs, panting. Your heart breaks a little, so you pull them close, stroke them slowly, and say in your softest voice, It's okay. You're okay. It's okay. Over and over, holding them, soothing them. Sound familiar? Here's what you don't realize. That comfort, as instinctive and loving as it is teaching your dog something you never intended to teach. In human communication, reassurance means I understand you're scared and you don't need to be. In dog communication, calm, deliberate attention given at a moment of distress means whatever just caused this reaction is worth reacting to. Your soothing voice, your focused contact, your soft repeated words. They don't translate as there's nothing to fear. They translate as your fear response just earned you something significant. And a behavior that earns something significant gets repeated and deepened. Veterinary behaviorists have documented extensively that owner reassurance during fear responses in dogs is directly associated with increased intensity of fear behavior over time, not decreased. It's not that comfort is wrong. It's that comfort delivered in direct response to the fear response reinforces the fear response. A dog that feels in control of its environment feels safe. A dog that's been taught that trembling produces closeness, and soft voices has been taught, very gently and with great love, that trembling is a useful thing to do. The fix is so simple it almost feels like cheating. Don't comfort the fear. Ignore the fear and engage the dog. When the storm starts, don't pull them close and whisper reassurances. Instead, pick up a toy. Start a gentle game. Move to a different room with a confident, easy energy, and invite them to follow. Give them something to do with their body that isn't trembling. You're not ignoring your dog. You're refusing to confirm that the fear is warranted. And there's no kinder thing you can do for a dog living inside a fear that doesn't need to be that big. You'll see it change over time. A dog who still hears the thunder but looks at you first before deciding what to feel. A dog who takes their cue from your calm instead of feeding on their own panic. That shift, from a dog who trembles to a dog who checks your face, is one of the most profound things you'll ever witness, and it started with you deciding not to confirm what they feared. 6 mistakes. Using inconsistent rules so your dog can never find solid ground. Rewarding nudges until your dog believes they're in charge of the connection. Repeating their name until the word means nothing. Making your departures emotional enough to confirm they're worth dreading. Correcting an hour after the fact. And teaching your dog only that your moods are unpredictable, and comforting fear in a way that quietly teaches them the fear is real. Number 1, pick one rule and hold it every time. Number 2, initiate affection before they ask for it. Number 3, say their name once and mean it. Number 4, leave like it means nothing because to a secure dog it should. Number 5, if you didn't see it happen, let it go. Number 6, don't comfort the fear. Engage the dog. Your dog doesn't use words. They can't sit you down and explain what they need, but they communicate constantly, through body language, through behavior, through the way they position themselves near you or pull away. And every single thing we covered today is your dog's way of saying, I need this. I've always needed this. I just needed you to know. If this video changed the way you see your dog, share it with someone whose dog deserves the same. Subscribe to Canine Mind because there's so much more your dog is trying to tell you, and we're just getting started.